Let's try this again. There we go. Can you guys see that okay? I did it right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So, excuse me. Better take a drink. Oh my goodness. Okay. So tonight's call is going to be all about sponsoring. In fact, I'll do that at the end. We're going to do a few things as a team coming up for sponsoring as well. 31, if you've not kind of paid attention, has kind of been setting us up for sponsoring. Right now we have the 31% off kits, and they extended it through the 15th. The new kit starts the 16th, if you weren't aware of that. So that's, you know, always exciting with spring product coming. And a question that was asked, gosh, I just keep getting a tickle. A question that was asked, and it did get clarified, and I had never thought of this before, and so I was really glad to see someone ask this, and it just piqued my curiosity, but the answer was no. But I still want to tell you about it in case you've ever thought about it. It was asked because you can enroll right now with 31% off. People wondered if they could enroll, say, on the 15th, and then the 16th still order the new kit, and they cannot. The system will only let them still order that first kit. So we've never really had anything, or I've just never thought about it, where there's like a crossover like this, you know, where that mattered. But in case anybody has been creative and thought of that, because I mean, that is an outside of the box like thinking, right? Like it doesn't work that way. So just want you guys to know that as well. And we're going to have an opportunity event. I'm going to make that real clear when we do the opportunity event too, that basically they have a lot of choices, right? Like we want her to decide what she wants. There's the amazing 31% off right now, but there's the new kits coming on the 16th. And stay tuned for the end of the call. And I'll tell you something first here that's also happening on the 16th. That's another little recruiting thing. It's a hear it first, don't tell type of thing that I'll tell you guys at the end. And I see Tracy shaking her head because as directors, we know what that is already. So the point being is that 31 is all about recruiting, which is pretty par for the course right before a new catalog, right? Like all things new catalog, it's just a great time to join. Not that it's not always, but it's always a fun time to join when there's a crossover, because they can have, especially if they join this month, and they can have the whole, like this month, this catalog retiring, and they're going to get even more orders again in March because it's all brand new stuff, right? Where most of the time we're not going to get orders twice from our family and friends. And this is the kind of one of those rare opportunities where they might. So moving forward, being on this call, you guys are all working towards director. So that's kind of this first screen. And some of you guys may have seen this slide before, or this graphic before. This is just that reminder that I love showing you guys all the time, because I can't say enough. It's okay to forget these things. And so that's why I always want to remind you this. Like, you're always going to need this in front of you. Even once you're a director, you're going to need it for 4, 5, 6 months. I bet Rebecca and Tracy, they're shaking their heads, right? Like, you constantly have to remember, like, okay, what do I have to stay active? What do I have to do to get that bonus? And we have a double promotion bonus on the line that we're still working towards, right? Yep. So sponsor 4 or more PICAs. That's how you're going to promote to a director. Have at least 1,000. You guys all know I hate to see you be minimums though, because these are all minimums, right? And so we want to always push for that 2,000 that you guys are kind of stretching for. And I know some of you are hitting it, some of you aren't, and that's okay. It's that January and February we're on that climb again on the mountain to get back up there too. And then submit 4,000 total with your team, and your PV does count towards that. So that's why, again, I like to say push towards that 2,000, because then when you're first starting out, getting 2,000 to 3,000 from your team is, you know, as some of you know that have been working, Tammy Brinker will tell you, it's tricky sometimes, right? Trying to get your team to work. So, all right, next, this will be the question though. My screen is so big. How am I going to the next one? There we go. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. So with that said, a little reminder, I was going to wear my pink wig today, but it's too hot in my house and the wig makes me hot. But my pink Rita wig, recruiting is the answer, is what we're here to talk about tonight. I'm going to add a little fun thing a little fun analogy that someone also told me. And it's so funny how sometimes these things are kind of like a snowball effect. So you all know I'm a firm believer in sliding down the mountain, and so that means Rita's the answer, right? Like recruiting is the answer for all the things. That means that's also how you're going to book more parties, is if you're asking her first to join your team, right? And you're going to get more orders and more people in your customer for all the things because you're sliding down the mountain. But I can't remember if it was Tracy I was talking to this about the other day and I was laughing about or not, but it was Tracy. I think it was, because she's smiling. Another person reminded me that the party is also the answer. So PETA, right, is what we would call that. And for those of you, any Hunger Game fans, because I'm a Hunger Game fan, so I like to think that, right, cute little PETA, he is also the answer, right? So I just do want to remind you that while I know you're going to hear me push not just sponsoring tonight, but on a regular basis, that recruit, like that's what you're looking for, especially when you're building a team. All of those things are not going to happen if you're not partying, right? So partying is the answer also. So Rita and PETA, our friends, are both super important, because without the parties, you're not going to get in front of more people. You're not going to get more connected contacts, more people to ask to join your team, right? More people to book parties off of your team. So I just wanted to share that little fun thing with you because it kind of made me giggle, because I'm a PETA fan. And so I thought it was kind of funny to just kind of think of it that way. Ooh. Oh boy. Okay. So these are some things that you guys have all heard me say. Feel free to screenshot any of the slides that you see here today too. These are going to be, those great reminders that sometimes you just need. That sponsoring is not about you, right? That's the number one thing. I see waving. The number one thing that you have to remember is that sponsoring is not about you. It's always about her. And so if you can keep that at the front of your mind and the front of your messaging, it's not going to feel icky. It's not going to feel yucky. It's not going to feel uncomfortable, right? Because if you're truly thinking about her, then it's just always going to feel right. So here's some fun stats on some of these too. If you didn't know that it is this, and I found this actually, like Sherry Hudspeth, and if anybody knows Sherry Hudspeth, she's kind of old school party coach basically, and training. She actually is like the person who like patented the dice game at one point, not the one that we play at Facebook's, but when we played it at home parties. Right. So she's just she's just like a guru of all kinds of things. And she had done some polls and some different things. I had found this when I was going through some of my notes, because I found my Sherry Hudspeth notes the other day. 50% of guests are thinking about what you do. Now, that doesn't mean they want to do it, but they think about it. Okay, so let's use ourselves as an example. Even though we're already in direct sales, okay, that's part of the equation, but it's an important part of the equation, because how many of you join a Pampered Chef party, a Scentsy party, a whatever it is, and you think about doing what they do? Because I do. And I don't take it seriously all the time, but I'm curious, right? Like this is my full-time job. So you all know, like, I don't plan to like jump ship and go anywhere, but I'm always curious, right? How many people are direct sales just alone in your party, right? I mean, think about that. How many of them have done direct sales at one point in your party? It's huge. I don't even know what those numbers are, but it's big. It is. It's big. So just that alone makes those stats go high, let alone if she's having fun and she likes the kids and she sees that maybe it looks easy, and we're going to talk about all these things, right? So it sounds at first like, 50% are really thinking, but when you break it down, you can see a little bit more how it really is. It really could be the truth. So some people are afraid to let you know. And there are a lot of 31 stories, and I will use Julie Aldridge, our home office. Like, she tells it and tells it and tells it. She was like the equivalent of an NED with the company that she was with at one time, if you guys didn't know. And then now she's obviously working for home office. She knows a lot of things, right? She's pretty big deal. And she will tell you time and time again, she was that girl at the party who was not going to tell her story. They were poor as heck. They were struggling. They had all kinds of things happening. And she was not about to sit there in front of her friends and family and peers and say, oh my gosh, I think I want to do this because we need help. Okay. Had the consultant not asked her, she to this day is like, I think I would have maybe joined something, but I can't say it would have been that. She says it piqued my interest and the girl asked me. So that's a really, really big thing to remember, especially when I know I have also pulled our team before, and I've pulled directors, believe it or not. And I've asked the question, are you an extrovert? Are you an introvert? Are you an introverted extrovert? And all the different things. And you would be floored to know that introverts win the race if there was a race in that. And I bet a lot of you right now know you're actually an introvert. You're not Danielle, right? Like you aren't. You're an introverted extrovert, or you're some version of that, right? Where you're not me. You don't like to just get on the stage and talk and do all the things. And you'll find that's actually really common. And that especially once we've moved towards that social media world, it's piqued her interest even more. It's something at the home party that a lot of women felt that they couldn't do. And we've had, I don't think Shannon's on here tonight. I don't think she is, because she's got, oh dang, now we're going the wrong way, I think. Hang on, because I don't know. Shannon's not on. I'll keep talking and I'll try to fix it at the same time, because I know she's got a girls trip. But she will be one of the first people to tell you that she's a huge introvert. In fact, to the point where I'll tell her story for you guys even really quick. When she was, I believe, high school, don't quote me if it was high school or not, but when she was younger, which is what matters, she had to give some type of speech, and like to the point of like passing out, got like passed out. Oh, gosh, now I'm lost. Hold on one second, because now I have no idea where I just went. To be continued, I promise. There we go. We're gonna stay on this screen because Danielle knows how to work this screen better. So to the point of like passing out. Okay. So she started way back when she started, she just wanted to do catalog parties, right? That's how much of an introvert she was. We weren't really Facebook partying as much back then. We were home partying, and slowly learned and got her confidence and learned to get comfortable being uncomfortable, and so on and so forth. And so that was the home party days where you would see more women who kind of longed, so to speak, for lack of a better way of putting it, to be something more than what they felt they were as an introvert, right? Like they longed to be maybe seeing me stand up there, and they knew like I'm not going to be her necessarily, but like, gosh, I wish I had the confidence to do that, right? So you would get a lot of people that would join for that. But now that we have shifted to such an online world, this appeals to the introvert, you guys. And I'm sure that's why a lot of you can say like you are here, because you're like, oh yeah, I still don't go live that much. And when I do, it feels better than standing up in front of 10 people in a living room. Like I at least have gotten, that's been easier, or whatever that looks like, right? Or majority of it is me making all of these posts and making a video that I only had to make once, and nobody, and I never looked at it again. And because even I do that, and I'm an extrovert, right? Like I don't watch my videos and over again. I don't want to see myself talk. It's weird. So I just want you to keep all of that in your brain, that there are so many women who are actually thriving for this. So some things to think about too, that you're paying her a compliment when you reach out, right? And I hope you all realize that that's like, there's two parts to that. I mean, one, you're thinking, for me, if someone asked me, and it wasn't just yucky and out of the blue, and I did it the right way, and someone did it the right way, and so let's for example say that I'm going to use Tammy right now, because she just had Martha, and gosh, what's the name? Martha, and why can't I think? It's biblical.
Mary and Martha.
I was like Martha and something. It's Mary Martha. So she just had a Mary and Martha party, and so let's pretend that in her party. And we're going to pretend, because I didn't really do this, but let's pretend that I was answering all the things and playing all of the games and, just watching all the videos. And I did okay in her party, but I wasn't like that crazy person. Right. And so her consultant reaches out to me and she says, oh my gosh, Danielle, I really noticed that it really seemed like you had fun. I hope you did. And people like you that have fun and really seem like they enjoy the party would be really great at this, because it's a really fun party. Right. So I'm not going to go into the whole spiel, but the idea, right, that she actually saw me, right? She paid me a compliment, not only by telling me something that she saw about me, that I was fun, but also by asking me and telling me she thinks I would be great at it, right? So there's two parts to that I hope you realize. Like, you've probably heard me say over and over and over again, start with a compliment, right? Like, that's an important part of the conversation. What did you see? Why would she be good at this? What would be great for it? At the same time, it really is a compliment just being asked. So make her feel special. She's going to, and to go that extra, put those pink gloves on and really make her feel special when you do ask. So offering during the party is your job, and doing follow-up is sincere. So remembering not only to offer, but those little things, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, but when you're making some of your videos, whether they're your YouTube videos or they're your live video, or you're using, whatever form that you're doing, because there's so many different options now, right? That you can one stream them and do all the different things that we can do now. Whatever you're doing, do that grocery checkout person part of it, where you tell them, I promise you, or that I'm going to do my job, or if I don't, you're going to get a prize. You do this however you want, but tell them that you're going to message all of them and you're going to be asking them to join your team and to party with you. Like, that's my job. And I would be really bad at my job if I wasn't doing those things, right? You can even say that if you want, if that feels comfortable. Now, there's, those were some examples of kind of how you're going to do that, but it really is your job. So it's okay to do them. I'm giving you the realization and or the grace to realize, like, it's okay. And it's even okay to just say it, because it is, right? There's nothing sneaky about it. It's your job. This is literally how you're going to keep doing this, and make that clear. So if no to the opportunity, then obviously you guys know all about sliding down the mountain. It might lead to the party. So it takes less than 5 minutes to make the contact. I mean, it honestly takes seconds, right? Like, when it really comes down to it, it takes a little bit of time. We'll give it the 5 minutes if you got to go scroll through the party and be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm on Anne. Anne is the next one on the list. Did she do anything in the party? Nope. So I'm just going to thank her for at least joining the party and start the conversation, right? So, and you planted a seed. And we all know it's like 7 contacts that they'll say before she's even really going to consider anything. And that's not, I say she, I should say they, but that's commercial wise, right? So if you had 2 or 3 posts in the party and you're now asking her, like, there's all those seats that you've dropped. Who knows where that may lead you? It may lead you to the club. It may lead you to the party. It may lead you to just a lifelong customer, but it's going to lead you somewhere by planting those seeds. So some things to remember, and this is so important for those of you especially that want to be director, which is everyone on this call, and who want to stay a director. And this is month after month after month. This is how you're going to maintain. This is how you're going to grow. This is how you're going to stay in the business. And so you need to always remember, when you are thinking about your goals, okay? So when we ask you, what are your goals for recruiting? I always want you to think about a couple of other things. I want you to think about, what are your goals for actually becoming a Pika, right? And what are your goals for them actually staying, okay? And so it's statistically shown that 1/3 at all times are coming in, 1/3 are going to stay, and 1/3 are falling off. And that is constant. And I know all the directors, if they were to look at their 6-month, 3-month snapshot, sometimes even monthly snapshot, we're going to look, and it is like literally 100% true. Like, just so true. It's just absolutely. And the best visual that someone is ever giving me is that, imagine you're filling the bathtub with water, and without putting a stopper over it, which we don't have a stopper, right? Because you can't make these people stay. So there's no stopper. But with the water pouring in really heavily, the water pools, and some water stays, right? And it still starts to fill the tub. Now, it doesn't fill it completely because some is constantly leaving. So the water is pushing in. That's your 1/3 coming in. There's the 1/3 that's just staying in the bathtub, and 1/3 of it is going down the drain. right? Can you visualize that? So that's the best visualization that I've always have in my head that I have to do constantly as a leader. And that's why partying is the answer, right? Back to PETA. That's why you will see upper level leaders, and sometimes you see them and you think, oh my gosh, I just want to be them. It must be easy street. They've now accumulated all these directors and all these people under them, and they must not have to do anything. No way, Jose. Even Jenny Hillenberg, for those of you that know, #1 consultant in the company. And by #1, I mean, she is #1. She's the first person that Cindy ever recruited. She's an NED. She has a huge lineage, but you will see she has parties still. She has to recruit, right? She has to keep finding those new next directors to stay where she's at. So 1 a month is going to help you maintain. There we are, back to that maintenance level again, just like your $1,000 a month that you need, right? But I don't want to see you guys minimums. I want you to constantly be growing. And so you will find 2 a month is going to help you grow. And again, I'll be honest, that's a minimum. And I'm going to pick on Tammy. Poor Tammy gets picked on in my and a lot of my Zooms. But I think she takes it humbly because she knows she has been recruiting on average 2 a month for a while, a lot, and she's not a director yet. And it is just, sometimes there's going to be luck of the draw, and sometimes there's just going to be other things, you know, at factor of who stays and who doesn't, and what happens. So 2 really needs to be your minimum, you guys. And right now, when 31 has these double bonuses on the line and all of the things, like, you honestly have to double and triple that. Like, your goal this month, when 31 is handing you a platter of 31% off kits, a reason to message, a new kit coming on the 16th, another reason to message, and something I'm going to tell you at the end of the call, yet another reason to message, right? So make sure that you are using the months that they give you these things to double and triple up, because other months you might just get that 1 or 2 also, right? This is going to go back to, I'll use connected contacts as another example that you guys have heard me talk about, where, you know, on average, you want to have 15 a week. But I also want you to realize it's 60 a month. And some months it's easier than others. Some months you might get 100. And other months you're at 40 and you're like, I swear I'm stuck. I can't get 20 more. I don't know what's going to happen, right? So please know that this business is always going to be an ebb and flow of, like, this is a recruiting month. This is a party month. This is a big sales month. You're always going to see that pattern over and over again with any direct sales company. Okay, partnering with your insider. So I want you to screenshot this because these are some words to say that you're going to want to think about. I'm not going to go through all of them, but there is one, there's one here, your first contact. So right after they book, this is your insider. And these aren't necessarily in my coaching. I got these from someone else. I had someone else that shared these slides with me, and we kind of tweaked them together. So one of my accountability partners. So, and we based it off of Accelerate. So for those of you that have done Accelerate, like Tracy and some of my leaders that watch this, you're going to know this is a lot of Julie Aldrich's stuff as well. So right after they book, you want to plant that seed. You want to ask them. You want to make sure that they know a little bit about what you're doing. The second time that's recommended here is prior to your first virtual post. So that's basically right before you're starting to maybe do the invites, or you've just done the invites. You'll see in my hostess coaching, this is in there, and it's right before we start doing the invites. Because for me, I want her to realize, like, if she joins right now, this could just be her launch, right? Like, we're just going to move forward with this launch. It's not going to get messy because I've gotten some of her orders already on her party and all of that. So those of you that follow my hostess coaching script, you'll see, right, that I do that. But this is also, even if she says no, it's really key that you're saying, like, well, I invite you to just watch and see if it's fun, right? Like, even if she said no, and to make sure she's thinking of other people that might want to do it also. That takes the pressure off of her also, right? So that you don't feel like you're pressuring her, and it's a win-win, because she might truly think of other people, and she might think, gosh, you know, I think my sister really would like to do this. I'm going to say something to her because I think I love 31 and she loves 31, right? Or it might just give her permission to think about it. right? Because 50% are going to think about it. She might be one of them. And you making it very clear that you're like, you know what, I understand. Just think about it. See if you think of anybody else. It's giving her permission. And then the third contact is at the very end. Again and again, I've got something in my hostess coaching where it's, you know, you compliment her. You make sure you know that she knows that you enjoyed it. You, especially if she booked parties, right? Like you want to play off of that. Like, oh my gosh, you got 4 parties booked. I still want to make sure you realize those could be yours, right? Like if you join, they could be yours. You know, anything that she did that was successful in the party, you want to make sure she knows about it, and you're asking her again. And this brings us to, if you did not know, if it is within the same pay period, we can flip the party and she can make the income. And she can get the hostess benefits. Now, when I say and, I want to make sure I clarify both of these. So when I say pay period, that means that if the orders were placed the 1st through the 15th, you guys know that is that's when we get paid for the first time, for the first part of the month, right? So if the orders were in the 1st to the 15th and she joins within the 1st to the 15th, and you want her to have the sales, because you have to make that decision also. 31 does not force us to do this. They offer it as our choice. So should you want her to get those sales, it has to be done by the 15th. Okay, so it's only going to count for the orders that were placed during that time frame. It's only going to count if that's when she joins, and it's only going to count if you make the phone call and you say, I want to help her out and I'd really like her to have this. 31 will then give her the PB and they will take it from you. So you will lose the sales, right? Now, it cannot happen if it was from month to month. So knowing that we can cross over, right? So like if she had orders back on the 30th, the month before, there's nothing they can do about those. It's too late. You're going to make the commissions on those. Same thing when it crosses over to the 16th to the end of the month. Now you can do it again. I'll give you example B. If the party is within the 16th through the end of the month, all the orders were placed. Yes, she joins before the end of the month, all of that scenario. But when you cross that 15th mark, we have a whole nother commissions check coming, right? Because we get paid twice. She cannot get those sales. Okay. So that's the first part. The second part is you don't have to give her the commissions, but they will move the party and give her the benefits if you want. So they will take the benefits off of you as far as the insider rewards. It gets a little tricky. Sometimes they have to give her credit. I don't know how it all works. I feel like sometimes every time I get home office, they do it a little bit. Some person at home office does it a little bit differently, but they will also do that, right? They will also make sure that she gets the benefits. And the second part to that is if you got it in the clear for the 1st to the 15th, right? So this is the example we'll give. So the party was ended on the 7th and she joined on the 8th and you call home office and by the 9th, they got it all transferred, but she wants to keep collecting orders. Okay, you're good. She just will have to call home office back. She still gets her 2 months, just like she always would. So say right now is a perfect example. She collected $500 in orders this month, and she wants to continue the party and try to get orders into March. She can do so. She can continue to get those orders on that party in March. You and her will make, I can't remember if it's you or her, home office will direct you what to do, but they will call. And again, they will make sure she gets the credits that she's supposed to get. They have to manually do it from their end. And if she's got more free credit coming, free hostess exclusives, whatever that looks like, right? So that's not something that we share all the time as leaders, because I mean, that was confusing, right? That's a lot of information. But it's not necessarily important for your average consultant, but none of you are average, right? You're in here wanting to be above average. So I do want you to make you aware of that, especially as we really roll into such a strong recruiting season right now. You know, and you may be having parties and like you said, you flip one. So, all right, moving on. Hopefully everybody got a screenshot of that. So at the party, and some of you guys have already done this. Some of you in the Shoot for the Moon training we really talked about having those videos and the why I joined and why I stayed. So it's really key to have these videos, whether they're a YouTube video that you continue to use, they're something that you've got set up in one stream that looks like it's live and you just keep using, or you just are good at your words and you keep doing it live. Makes no difference how you do it, really, in the grand scheme of things. I mean, there's going to be theories to algorithms and all those different things. But for me, if you make it a call to action, and the first video especially, It goes in my announcements. It's one of the videos, it's one of the posts that I have my hostesses tag on. So there's only 3 or 4 that I require, quote unquote, right, for her to tag, and that's the poll, and that's the 411 post that kind of tells about everything, and this video, and there's one more thing which is irrelevant to what we're talking about. But if you want to know it, ask me afterwards and I can look it up, because there's something else that I put in the announcement post. But the point being is that this first video tells them why I joined, and what, you know, all of those things. So a little bit about my why, and it piques their interest. It also tells them things like how shipping works and what the customer special is, so that there's some value in this video for them, right? And then there's a call to action, right? So there's something that I put in the verbiage, both in the video as well as the verbiage that's post the video, and they're getting like 5 extra points or something like that, right? To answer your question and do that below. And I'm drawing a blank what mine is again. So if you really want it, message me afterwards, I'll get it for you. It's not anything earth shattering, but it's just the point that it's a call to action, right? So there's a reason for them to watch that video, and hopefully majority of them, and not all, but majority of them, if they watch your first video and there was a call to action and there was extra things, they're going to watch your next video too. So some things to think about, some other things to think about at the party is your party presentation. Does your job look fun and easy? How are you creating engagement? When there is engagement, are you focusing on the solve, or are you just throwing in the towel, right? So they see you. They see you both as the host and the insider, and they see you as the customer on what you do with your party, right? Your customers will engage and book and join the business when they know, like, and trust you. What are you doing during your party to help them know, like, and trust you? If you take nothing else from this, write those things down. Know, like, trust. Those are really, really key in your party. That is how you will get more parties. That is how you will get them to join you. That is how you will get them to join your customer group and the clubs and continue to be your customer, right? So as we come into a new season and you are making your parties, really think about those 3 things. Okay, whether it's videos, whether it's adding pictures of yourself, which is so key, and a lot of you skip, I do believe, you know, and just take the time, go use filters if you have to, and be silly, and use pictures of your family and get personal in your posts. Show you holding the Benjamin's wallet. Show you with the Fresh Market thermal. Show you with something that maybe the money bought you, right? When you're telling your story, show you at your kids' dance lessons, because that's what it pays for, and make sure they know that's what it pays for, right? So really look into these things when you are working on your parties, ladies. Okay, minnow versus shark bait. And the idea that minnows are the small little thing and they're going to catch fish. But what kind of fish are they going to catch versus a shark bait? Okay. So the minnow bait, words not to say. Okay. This is where minnows are going to get you kidnappers in a roundabout way. Minnows are going to get you they didn't stay. They came in, they didn't stay, and they fell out, right? Like just boom, boom, boom. Okay. These are some things and again, just screenshot this maybe so that you can kind of remember these, especially as you are building your party and as you are starting to do live videos. And I will tell you right now, you will say these things, you will forget, and you will catch yourself, and you will get done, and you'll go, and you'll beat yourself up, and you'll go, oh my gosh, I knew that was a minnow. I shouldn't have said it. I've been in this business. Tracy is smiling and laughing, and she's one of the directors I can see. 9 years in, I am still making minnow mistakes, right? Like, it happens, okay? But you do want to do your best to not purposely be planting these everywhere. And that is things like getting started as a consultant is so easy. You can work from home in your pajamas. Now, we could tear this apart and we could say, it is true. You see Danielle in her pajamas all the time, right? But is easy really the word? No, not necessarily. I don't want it to sound hard either, but we're not going to lie. It's not easy getting 15 connected contacts every week, right? It's not easy getting out of your circle. What you guys are doing is still a skill, right? You can say things like, our team makes it really easy for you to learn, okay? Because that's an actual full statement, right? 31, we have a great, it's called 31 Today, TOT, has a wonderful setup for new consultants and where we can continue to learn and grow, right? Like you can give examples of some easy things, but don't just say it's easy. You will never catch me telling anybody that it's just easy, because it's not. I'm not here to lie, right? I'm not going to say it's hard either, because I don't think it's hard. I don't think it's rocket science. We're not, we're definitely not brain surgeons here. But just stay away from those words, because it's going to fool her, and it's going to make her think she just like all the wrong things, right? Like perfect example is she's not going to listen to you when you start telling her when I start trying to launch her, or your director starts trying to launch her, or you start trying to launch her, she's going to be like, whoa, list what? I got to write down 62 people. What? That's not easy, right? She's from the very get-go, she's going to start not liking those things. Next thing, take a look at the kits that we have to offer. And it's so easy to want to lead with that. And if you love our products, this is the best deal we have, right? You don't want that to be why she joins. You want her to book a party with you if she just wants the deal. You want to get her the free product. You want her to have a rockin' party so that you book more parties off of that, and you find someone from her party that really wants to join and make money, right? Give it a try. All you have to do is stay active. To stay active is have $200 every 3 months. That'll be what she'll do. That'll be her minimum. If that's what you want to do, then sure, say that, right? Now, by all means, you're going to have to answer this question a lot. You will get asked this. This is the number one question that they ask me. If you do, like, for instance, in your party, ask me about my job for 2 extra entries each question, yada, yada. You will always get asked this question. My response is that, yes, it's $200 to stay active every 3 months, which, as you can see, is just a few orders. However, I always like to tell people that, and this is literally what I'm saying to that. This is literally what I type out. I always like to tell everyone that when they join, to try it out for 3 or 4 months, book 2 to 3 parties a month, make $200 a month, which is much more than selling, and then decide if it's for you, if it's a good fit for you or not. So something to that effect, right? Like, make sure she knows what you want her minimum to be if she joins you, right? That you would like to see her try it. You would like her to have a launch. I might say I'd like her to have a launch. If my new consultants have a launch with me and book a few parties, there's a few different ways to word that, but make sure that you are basically telling her what you want her to do, because at the end of the day, you're her recruiter, right? Like, you're her sponsor. This has got to be a win-win for both of you still too. And then when you order your kit, it's not like you're making a huge commitment. Try it. If you don't like it, you can always step away. And the worst thing that'll happen is you'll have all the products to use at home. That's the same verbiage as that deal, right? Like, that's just showing her she's got a good deal. And I'm not here to say it's not a great deal, right? But don't push the deal. The deal is where you're going to get the kidnapper. She's going to see for herself it's a good deal, right? That is a no-brainer. We don't have to say that. We really don't. There's no one in their right mind who doesn't look at the $59 kit, the $99 kit, the $179 kit, and not think, well, that's a good deal. No one looks at that and doesn't think that. What they think instead is, oh no, direct sales isn't for me, or oh no, it's a pyramid scheme, or oh no, it's a scam, or oh no, I've tried it before and it didn't work, right? Like, we can come up with all the other things, but there's no one literally in the history of anyone who likes 31 and pays attention that can look at that. I don't care whether you have the worst math brain in the world and not think it's a good deal. So it is not our job to tell anybody that it's a good deal, right? Like, it's just not. Okay, I see you laughing and chuckling. Like, it's the truth, right? So we talked a little bit about those why commercials, creating your video, piquing curiosity, and you can just screenshot this one if you want as you're making those videos. Again, these are some great reminders. Whatever you're telling them, whatever your why is, it has to be sincere and from the heart. If you're adding in help them imagine what the business could do for them, that's where it doesn't have to be your story. So this is when I talk about why I stayed. You will hear, if you want to watch my videos, just go to my YouTube channel or holler after. I can send them to you. They are Julie Aldrich's to a T, basically words. I took lots of notes and really used hers, and I'm very authentic at the same time. I use what 31 can do for someone. It does not mean that it did it for you. It doesn't mean it did it for all of us. We all have a different story, right? But I'll give you an example of one, for instance, and this is I know this applies to a lot of you, is I don't know if every day you drop your kids off at daycare and you bawl because you have to go to work, a full-time job, and you don't want to leave them there, right? That is one example that maybe some of you, that is not me. I never had to live that story, but I can say 31 didn't make me live that story also, right? Like there's all kinds of examples like that you want to think about, right? Like the working mom, the stay-at-home mom, the person who isn't a mom yet, the person who's got bills. We can go on and on with all the reasons why she joins, right? And you want to hit 3 or 4 of those at least that are your target audience. Okay. And you have to know what your target audience is, right? Do you party more with moms? Because that's who you are and that's who you tend to party with. Do you party more with boomers? That would be me. I'm not a boomer, but that's who I attract, right? So you have to know who your target audience is too. And that's not to say it can't be well-rounded. Like some of you are probably like, oh, I party with all, and that's great because I do too, to a certain extent. So you want to be well-rounded as well. You want to make sure that some of those are your story so that they're authentic, but no matter what, there's someone's story that basically, or that it could be. And then avoid information dump and too many details. And you all know that is me to a T. And if you watch my videos, I tried to get to the point, right? Like you do have to keep it short and simple. Back to that number 2 one, it's piquing their curiosity. It's just enough that they thought, I did see those kits. It was a great deal. She didn't have to tell me that, right? I saw them back, right? I saw them and they were. And wow, it does seem like she has a lot of fun. And gosh, I can't believe she's went on all these trips. Or, oh, wow, she doesn't have to take her kids to the daycare. Look they're on video with her, like Kristen is right now, right? Like whatever that looks like. So just make sure that you're not dumping too much. And then follow up. And this is back to, you saying in that video that you were going to message them. Okay. So as you're doing those 5 questions or something simple when you're doing your follow-up, and again, just screenshot this one so that you've got it if you can. And if someone needs the screenshots afterwards, I'm sure someone will share them too. So just shout out if somebody needs all the screenshots afterwards, or I can share the slide with you even for that matter.
Screenshots is usually defined as a copy or image of what is seen on the computer screen at a given time.
Why does Alexa think I'm talking to her? Did I say anything that sounded like her name? That was funny. Oh, that was really funny. So here's where you get to say, right? Thank you for attending Sue's party. I promised I would follow up. So that's why I'm reaching out, right? So you told her already that that's what you were going to do and that's what you're doing, right? And then there's your perfect opportunity to be able to say, when I was sharing why I love being a consultant with 31, along with some of the reasons that women join our company, what piqued your interest or made you curious, right? What a great question to start with, right? As opposed to just, do you want to join my team? Right? Like there's a conversation starter. And then for guests that express interest after you post, right? So these are the people that you do see asking the questions, and you do have to be leery because I don't know about you guys, but I make it very clear because I want them to ask questions. So I make it very clear in my Ask Me About My Job that it's okay if you want to win prizes. Ask the questions, right? Because if she asks the questions and I answer them, people are reading them. So I'm okay with that, right? So you do have to kind of use your best judgment there. But I will ask them outright. If they ask several questions, I will private message them and I will just say, hey, I'd like to help you with some more questions. I see you were asking a lot. If you were simply just really wanting to help Susie out with her party and you're just wanting to win the prize, by all means, please just tell me. But if you have more questions, I would love to see, to help answer and, maybe talk with them tomorrow. See if you can set up a little FaceTime or send them to our Is 31, group, whatever that looks like. The more you can talk with them in person, the better, but that's always tough. It's not easy. I'm not telling you not to. Julie will tell you 100% have to get on the phone with them. And I think there is definitely power in that. But I also know if someone asked me to get on the phone with them, I'm going to say, no way, Jose. And I'm an extrovert. So you have to be mindful of that also, right? So that's going to be a generation thing again. That's going to be a personality thing again. There's going to be all kinds of things to that. But you've got options, right? The point is she can chat with one of us if you need to, right? She can chat with your director and she can help answer the questions. You have the Is 31 for You group. You can just chat with her. And again, when you are having those conversations, this is not word vomit. This is asking her questions. What piqued her curiosity? What does she already love about 31? Has she ever had a 31 party? Have any of her friends had a 31 party? Asking her as many things as you can just about 31 is the best place to start. And I promise you, she will do the talking. If you just keep asking those simple questions, she will guide you in what else to ask without having to tell her all of the things if you let her lead the way. All right, I think, yes, that is the end of this. So let me get off of screen sharing. All right, so let's go back because I'm sure there was questions in the comments. Let me look there first, and then by all means, I want to hear your questions and I want to hear you guys talk and I want to hear your ahas, like even if it's something you've already heard, but you were just like, oh my gosh, yes, that spoke to me tonight. I've got to remember to do this or that. All right, you guys were chatting in the comments and I missed it, but I bet you were helping each other out if I know you guys. Okay, so Rebecca said, love this. I honestly haven't highlighted 31% off nearly as much. I haven't either, as I have in the past, because I don't want to focus on the opportunity to be the deal in the kit. Yes, it really is true. And that's a tricky one. This is where I use the 31% off the most. Okay, I use those with the warm leads. I use those with the people that I've already spoken to. And by now, hopefully, a lot of you have a list of people that you've spoken to and already about joining, right? And they just showed some kind of interest, even if it was a little bit, because they already know what the deal is, right? So back to what we were saying, like this isn't rocket science to them. They already do know what the deal is. And now it is a bigger deal. And they were thinking about it already, right? So you're not just telling them about the deal. You're telling them instead, like, gosh, I know you were, and that's how you can lead it. Like, I know that you had thought about this before, and you might have to go back in your notes or replay some of their messages and look, and you're like, oh, but I see that, your son was graduating and it just wasn't the right time for you at that time. I just wanted to let you know if now is the right time. 31 is actually offering 31% off their kits, right? Like that's how you would add that in there. But yes, Rebecca, it's so right. It's so true that that's not where we just generally want to lead all the time. And then Tammy's saying it attracts the kidnapper, not the worker. Tammy can raise her hand, right? We all know, I'm not picking on her, but she just knows whether she meant to attract the kidnappers or not. And you know what? I want to add to that though with Tammy, because this happens to myself as well. I do want you guys to understand that there is, especially for those of you that have been around for a while, or for those of you that are just getting discouraged with how many, like Tammy, have joined your team and haven't become a Pika. I want you to understand that in the social media world, this is the flip side, and the flip side of it is that you will get kidnappers, whether you asked them or not. You will get people who join, and the reason it happens so much easier with social media as opposed to the home party is because it's easier, just like anything else. It's easier to bully on social media, right? It's not easier to bully from the couch. It's not easier to, just like it's not easier to be a kidnapper from the couch. When you saw how passionate I am about 31 and that this is my job and how I pay the bills or whatever that looks like, right? So I do want you to know that side of it, that it's not always you are doing something wrong either, okay? But I want you to be mindful. I want you to constantly be looking and evaluating, is my party set up right now for kidnappers, right? Like a few of you, I've both Tammys, I think we've done that as homework, right? Like we've looked at your parties, we've broken down your hostess coaching. We've made sure that you're as much as possible not attracting the kidnapper. But that doesn't mean, back to that point, what person in their right mind doesn't look at it and think it's a good deal? I have joined so many companies, it's not even funny. And I'm actually polite. And I always ask the person I'm joining under, like, is it okay if I be a kidnapper? I don't want to hurt your sales. And they always tell me yes. So I do. In fact, Tammy, I'm going to be joining Mary and Martha because there is a deal. I booked a party off of Tammy just for example, and there's a $19 deal, and I was point blank honest with her. I cannot join and actively promote this. Like I'm on pack, and, I explained to her all the things that I actually can't, you guys. Now I can join and use it for my own benefit. I can join and use it like, with my family and friends, but I can't post out there like I just joined Mary and Martha, right? Like I can't do that. So I made it very clear to her, and she told me, yep, go ahead and join. So I'm like, okay, this party. So it's going to be that way. I just want you to, and the whole point of that is that there are going to be me's out there, right? Like, I am being so honest, and I'm being transparent. I'm not even bamboozling this person. I'm not even going to ghost her later and do all the things. I am from hello saying, I will not be whatever you need me to be, right? Like, I'm not going to get you a trip. I'm not going to party again. If I book parties, they are yours. I cannot do them, right? And you're not going to get people like me. You're going to get people who just see the $19 kit that she has right now, and they're just like, well, yeah, why wouldn't I order that? It's hundreds of some dollars worth of stuff and just one thing in there I wanted. Why the other stuff is like free, right? Like, it's just going to happen. So I want you to also give yourself grace. I don't want you to beat yourself up when that happens. But I do want you to be mindful, especially, like I said, as we're building our new parties. It's a perfect time to really evaluate what you're saying and what you're doing in all of your posts and all of your videos and all of your coaching. Okay. And then Tammy's saying too that are joined last fall. Yep, they're joining. So you all know it. You all had the pain. I don't think there's anyone on here, to be honest, that hasn't practically had someone that's left them or that is just not doing anything. We're in the middle of their launch and they've not finished it. And it was in November. There's a few of you raise your hands, right? And I know some of you can't see, and Ashley and Rebecca and Kim, they've all had them, right? So okay, it's hard. You guys are giving each other encouragement. I love you guys. Okay, so, and Rebecca's saying she had 11 join in August, which was amazing when we had the 31% off before, but only 4 and 4 fallen off, right? So she did great with that. But I will tell you what Rebecca did, and I know she's got Paw Patrol going on with her little one, and so I'll try to kind of tell her story and not murder it too much. I know that what Rebecca did. So even though she did attract those kidnappers, she really told her story still, you guys. And so it was like they were kind of kidnappers, some of them, right? Like she got a little of both. Like these were those true, like, I think I want to be a kidnapper, but gosh, this girl is doing well. And I see she's actually still doing 31 and she's making money, and boy, she's working towards being a director, right? So, and I think the same thing, I can speak for Tammy, kind of just happened in December, because we did the same type of thing where we really like boosted her customer group, and you got a couple of girls that joined, and they're sort of kidnappers, but they're sort of hanging on. Like, I know, right? So there's hope there when you really tell your story too, that those are the kidnappers that are like the maybes. But I don't want to get your hopes up, because sometimes kidnappers are kidnappers, right? And then Tammy is still talking. A couple of them will probably, yeah. So you guys continue to talk about that. So, all right, questions, comments. I just want to hear even your ahas. What was your favorite takeaway? I would love to hear from each of you before we wrap this up. We got a few minutes left. Anybody? Come on. Don't make me go for it, Tracy.
Sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm actually doing 4 questions in a party right now.
I love it.
But so the bathtub really was a big aha for me. I had as many as 34, and they come in and they go, and they come in and they go, and some of them do something and some of them don't. And I feel like that is really kind of what we are all experiencing. I know that both of the Tammys have had a so like they come in and they're like super excited, and then nothing.
Right.
So it's that piece that you're just like, you want to be like, but then you're at the same time, you're like, I get it. I totally I totally get it. Right. I love that. I feel like that is a really good analogy, and that's something that I will use in the future. But then there was another piece, the call to action in the first video that you pin, like, I think I need to redo. I think I need to redo mine, because I think I need to do a call to action, and say.
I'm gonna look right now while you guys are chatting. I'm gonna look for that. What I do.
Okay.
I'll see if I can't figure it out, because I put myself on the spot because I didn't have a note for it, and of course I drew a blank. So keep talking.
Oh no, and it's totally fine. But I feel like that is also a piece where it's like, I mean, I did go through Accelerate, and those I did see some of the exact words were what Julie said, and just some of the things that if I can go back and look at the screenshots, because again, like I said, I'm multitasking and I can't focus on one thing at a time. How did she say it? There was one on there where I was like, oh my God, I can hear Julie coming out of the content. Yeah. Oh, this part. It's like the second piece right before the party where you're asking, you've already kind of put that seed into the hostess's ear about, this is a great business, and we're always looking for both consultants and leaders. So then you got your go-getter. That's your shark bait right there. I'm looking for leaders too.
Leaders,
right?
so key. That's something that I am also trying to shift towards that I have not done. Thank you for that reminder, Tracy. It's so key, because that is what you're looking for, ladies, because not only do you want to be a leader, but to move to that next level, right? You're looking for the leader underneath you.
Yes.
And, the thing, and for lack of a better way of putting this, and please know that I'm not dismissing any of you, that you're not going to be a leader. But what I want you to understand is that you're all here and you're not leaders yet. And I'll pick on Tammy and Tammy again, that they've been trying to be leaders forever. So what do you see right here? You're all going to stay. So when you pique her curiosity that she wants to be a leader, she may or may not become a leader. It may or may not happen overnight. It may or may not happen at all, but she's one that's going to stay. She's one that's going to want the amp. She's one that's going to want the pink reveal and all the things. You are all perfect examples of that, right? And I'm not dismissing in any way, shape, or form that you're not a leader yet, but you are the key players on all of our teams, right? Like, you are what is helping our teams as well, right? So it's that whole, like, we all work for each other, right? Like, it's about her, but in the end, even when it's about her, it helps us, right? And we help her, and you guys know that circle and that cycle. So the leader part is really huge. If you guys can start doing that now, because you will be ahead of Tracy and I, and those of us that are like just trying to pack this, that's like a new thing for me that I have to make sure is coming out of my mouth all the time. Thank you for that, Tracy. Yes,
right.
yes.
It's so true, because we like, even at Summit. So you guys haven't been to Summit yet. Well, Rebecca and Danielle, but Summit, there was all this stuff, it happens in January, it's for directors and up, and they were talking about stuff in a party. And I was like, oh my God, I need to say that in my party. It was the bingo party, and the oh gosh, I can't even off the top of my head remember it, but
just
I wrote
looking at my notes.
She said they have to do 3 things when they order. And I need to look at my notes too, but it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, you have to be kidding me. Why did I not think of that? And I'll find it, and then I'll post it or something in our
please
page.
do, because it's a good one. Yes.
But she talked about, there's 3 things that you need to do. And she even talks about ways that you can shop, like you can shop by product, by print. Like, what, we know this. Why don't we tell our shoppers? It's just stuff that even these screenshots that we talked about for recruiting. The point that I was trying to make is that for us, Danielle and I, and maybe even Rebecca and maybe Tammy and Tammy, but we have to shift our internal script, because we've done it for so long a certain way, that we need to remember to do it a different way. And if you can start out with it in this fashion, or with some of these words, or not using some of these other words, it'll be better off for you.
You are ahead of us by a mile, like, yes. Right? Like,
yes.
That's one of the things that you guys don't see, especially if you've joined within the past couple of years, is you see Danielle and you think she's this well-polished, like, plethora of information. I had to be you at one point, right? I had to make all of those mistakes. I had to do all of those things, and I'm still doing it, right? Like, I'm still, like, Tracy's reminding me, leaders, right? Like, I hope you guys all saw the light bulb go off in my head that I'm like, oh my gosh, I got an aha today of something I have to do still, right? So yes, it's so true. Like, the more that you can get into those good habits now, you're just going to be so ahead of the game. So yes, thank you, Tracy, for sharing those. I wish I could find, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I can't find it either, but she'll make a great post. I know Tracy will.
Yep. I will find it and I will put it up.
Okay. So my video and my call to action, I want to tell you guys, it's super simple, you guys. All it is in this first video is it says welcome again to the party. It's, you know, the video or the title of the party is welcome to the party. Even it says watch this video and tell me something that you learned. That's it. For 25 extra entries though, like shebang, 25, right? Like I went all out. And then I gave him a little PS about shipping because the video's old and I was too lazy to remake it. So I said, PS shipping rates have changed since I made this video. And I told what the new rates were. And then again, I said, so tell me what you learned. And you will get everything from you have 2 beautiful children to for when I spend 50, I get half off. Like you will get all kinds of things, right? Because you planted all kinds of seeds and did all kinds of things. And if you want the video, let me know too. You have a dance history. You used to own 2 dance studios because I tell a little bit about what I did before, right? So that's the first video. And then I'm going to let somebody else talk and I'm going to look for the other video because then there's a second video and I think there's a call to action. Oh, I know what that one is. And for that one, for me, again, it's super simple. And I know you guys can't do this, but you're going to think of something. I've earned all kinds of trips, right? So I talked about the trips that I've earned and I asked them to tell me what one of the trips are. And the trip part of it is the very end of the video. So that was another key part that I did with that one. I made them watch the whole video, right? The first video, I gave them grace. I said, just tell me something you learned. It's like a 2-minute video. So hopefully I kept them for 2 minutes, right? And they did. They watched it all. And you can tell they did because they know about the special. They know about all the things that were in the video. But the second one, I want to keep them because that one is going to be more about like, why would you want to join, right? The first one, I give them just a little peek and I give them some things about the party and why to get excited. And then the video that goes the second day or the third day or whatever it is, it goes later, a couple days later in the party. It is a little bit longer. I think it's still less than 5 minutes. And it's more about like why I stayed, you know, what I got. And then like we talked about that, like, you know, I don't know your story. Maybe you've got credit card bills, you know, you're completely in the red. And you decide if you want to be that or not. But I'm always like, cause I've been there. Cause I have, right? Like my husband and I have been in the red. We've been on food stamps and the whole 9 yards. I get it. Something like this, I've seen not only myself, but other women help get out of that, right? I can now say we aren't in the red and so on and so forth. So those parts are all in that video. But like I said, whatever you do at the end of the video is basically key, that's your call to action. So whatever you kind of close it with, because you want them to watch that whole video, that's where you're asking them some type of call to action. Okay, other things. What else did you guys get? Got to work the videos. I'm looking at comments too. Rebecca's saying she's multitasking. Paw Patrol is still happening. Kim is saying she's great. Got to work the videos, right? I bet she's not the only one out. Who else is going to say they have to work those videos? I'm sure she's not the only one. Guaranteed. Yep. Got to go and rest. COVID sucks. Oh, Kim's got COVID too. Yes. Oh, you poor people. I feel like it's the story of everybody I know. They either have COVID or their kids have COVID. I swear the blessed part of it is that like I don't know people hospitalized anymore. Like I feel like it definitely has like been calming down, but my goodness, it seems like so many people have it. Okay, other ahas, other questions. Let's hear it. Go for it, Tammy. I think it says you're not muted, but I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Something wrong with your speaker? Weird. All right, while she's monkeying with it, someone else can go. Who else wants to chat?
Okay.
I saw him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there you are.
Okay. Sorry, it was on my Bluetooth. I don't know, something with my hearing aids or whatever.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yep.
Something that really struck me was they're not going to join unless they know, like, and trust you. And I think that's an aha moment for me because I worked in retail sales for like 10 years. And I worked in the banking industry where we were always trying to upsell accounts and stuff. And I just, you've got to get them to know, like, and trust you if they're interested in having a party or even just to have them, buy something from you. I think that's really, really important.
It really is. And it's important for the party to evaluate. And I can't stress enough, it's important for your hostess coaching. It again is why Some of you have done Shoot for the Moon already. If you haven't, I'm going to be giving you homework soon. Some of you had to do your hostess coaching already, right? Like and I really, really push you to make your own videos and recorders, because here's the thing. Those insiders, those hostesses, they are literally your bread and butter, you guys. If they know and trust and like you and all, those things, right? Then they are going to be more apt to try to help get those 3 parties, not just because you might be giving them a gift, right? For booking 3 parties or whatever you do, that you guys know that's what my incentive is. You might do it differently, but maybe you don't even do an incentive, right? You feel that you can't afford that. And so you're not. But she's going to help get you parties if she knows, likes, and trusts you. If those are factors, right? She's going to recommend you. She's going to party with you again. She's going to think about actually joining your team. She's going to possibly join your club, right? She's going to continue to be your customer, which means she's going to continue to participate in your customer group even, right? Like there's just so many keys. So start there. That's a huge part of it. But at the same time, don't dismiss that your party, while it can be a well-oiled machine, right? Because many of us use things like SynShare and even Facebook Scheduler or whatever we're using, right? And it's repeat and repeat. When you're building them, just make sure that it's you. Make sure that it's showcasing what you want to do. That's going to help know, like, and trust those things. Those are so huge. Thank you for that being an aha, Tammy.
And there's one other thing too that again, I don't know why I didn't think it. You can shop by pattern, product category. That's just, because I have had people, oh, I want all the sloths, or I want all of the campers, or something like that. And you think about that person, you don't think about anybody else. And it just, oh my gosh, this person wants this pattern. Well, we can see what we can get for them in that pattern. Or I have a girl that's wanting to shop with me right now. She has a friend that's having a baby shower in April or May, and the girl's doing fish and blue is her theme. So I'm going to talk to her about, I've talked to her about having a party and see if maybe there's some of the stuff that's in the outlets or the online exclusives that maybe has some of the fish in it that she can get.
Yep.
Those are the types of things that I guess because I've been doing it so long, it doesn't click to me to do that kind of stuff. I need to get out of my rut. That's my problem.
I found it, Tracy. Product, print, and bundles. That's what she does. And the bundles can be, she explains that it's shop the look. She explains that I have some bundles that I'm going to show you in the party, and those just utilize spending your $50. Like she explains that part of it, but it's product, print, and bundles. Right. And so then she tells them, when you go to my website, you can put the product that you like. You can go over to the search engine 2 different ways. You can go to where the drop down list is, and you're going to find the products that you might be looking for. You can put the print, and you can put the bundle. You put the word bundle. That's the other thing. She tells them, you put bundle in that search engine. Boom, you guys. All kinds of things come up, because we have those 2 essential storage totes and the 2 zipper pouches, and there's more there than you realize, right? And that gets them getting that 50 and spending the half off. So yes, that was a big one.
Very cool. I also feel like, Timmy, that what you were just talking about the gal with the fish, she's doing the birthday party with the fish and the blue and all that what you're talking about right there is another piece of our pink glove service. What we do to stand out, to make them trust us, right? That, okay, just a few ideas for you. If this is something that you'd like to do, I remember, and it shows that you care about her and what's going on with her and what's happening. You know what I mean? That's what we do. It's a relationship business.
And I can tell you, just since I've started 31, so in my little over 9 years, I've had an average of at least 3 to 4 parties a year with another direct sales company, just on average, right? And I bet a lot of you can say the same. No one has ever done that for me. No one has ever personalized or paid attention to what they think I might like and messaged me that. That is huge. And I will tell you right now, I have 2 people that I'm loyal to out of all the parties I've ever had. 2. And so you're talking, I've had at least 35 to 40 parties in the past 10 years. And there are 2 people that I'm loyal to because they have shown me any type of reason to know, trust, and like them. And I'm not saying that I don't like them, right? Like, don't dismiss that. Like, but they didn't do anything to make me feel loyal. Like, none of them did anything. So use that, right? And I'm sure a lot of you can think about, I'm sure you've all had parties as well, right? And again, I'm not dismissing that they're bad at it or anything, right? Like, you don't know what you don't know either, right? Like, they don't have us. They don't have 31's culture. They don't have the sisterhood. They don't have the training that we do. Most companies, and not all. I mean, there's a couple, like I said. And what's funny is the 2 people I'm loyal to are with the same company. They're both Pampered Chef. One
Danielle,
of them
it's kind of like going back to that. Sorry to interrupt. It's like going back to that. People just send you an invitation to be in a party. You know, those are the ones that they might be I'm in a vendor party group. We do a party about once a month with a bunch of different vendors, and they might say something, but if they're not going to do it in advance, it's just kind of that ick factor, and I think that's the same.
Follow up. I never have anybody follow up with me. Like, they never, right? Like,
right.
It's just, and I don't even dismiss when it looks scripted. That doesn't even bother me. I know that it's hard not to do that in this business, right? But when there's literally nothing personal that you ever did for me, and especially even as a hostess, if I'm being really honest, right? Like, you did your job, but you didn't do anything to keep me. So just keep that in mind as you guys are doing things too, right? There's that pink glove service. What are you going to do that's extra? And a lot of people get in their head too that it needs to be money, it needs to be prizes, it needs to be gifts. And I mean, a dollar store something in their little packet, if you send a hostess packet, goes a long way. But it's really not that. That's a little extra. Like, of course, that's a little love that they know you're serious, but it's not. It's doing things like Tammy said. It's paying attention to what they want and what they like and why they booked the party and what are they working for. Get those wish lists, ladies, do those types of things. And then same with the customers. When you play those games, what pattern do they like, right? Like, take it to Messenger and start showing her some things. See if she wants to personalize, play around with it. And I know you can't do it for all your customers, especially if you're really doing big mega parties, but you can do a few. You can, especially the ones that are participating, right? Like, if you see her answering all the time, she's the one that you definitely better be making a connect to contact early in that party. Who else before we wrap up? I know we're a little over an hour, but it's been a pretty good call. We have any other ahas or takeaways or questions? Questions especially. Anybody have any other questions? Okay, so I will tell you too, since nobody seems to be raising their hand, but by all means, if somebody wants to talk, I promised you there was something at the end. So shush, shush, shush. I will say I'm drunk if you share this Zoom anywhere. Which funny part is I always put it on YouTube, so I know other people see it, but whatever. It's okay. There is going to be a $20 kit that starts the 16th as well. And it is, Tracy, I may need your help. It's I think Rebecca left us. So it is a zip top organizing utility tote, a zipper pouch. I know there's like one more thing. I feel like there's 3 items in it, well worth the $20. In fact, I will tell you, they were going to do $31 because that is our price point that we do a lot of times is the $31. And they really want to help push recruiting for us. So they dropped it down to a $20. So as much as we don't want to use that word value, the whole point and the whole premise as someone who is, who has been privy to some of this information is that they want it affordable. They want this to be for that girl that even the $40 for her right now is just, it's not doable. And there are those people, like you all know, that's who this is appealing to. It's a conversation starter. It's again, another reason to follow up again with those warm leads. But really, quite frankly, this is for those girls that need the money and do not have. The $20 is going to be her figuring out what she's going to not pay for her groceries, if I'm being honest, right? Like she knows like, I'm going to have to do less laundry this month. I'm going to really push a lot of garbage in the garbage bags. I'm saying all these things because I know, right? Like I've been there and I'm sure some of you have too, right? Like she knows she's getting food stamps already and it doesn't pay for diapers and it doesn't pay for all these other things. Where am I going to cut back? What am I going to do to get $20, right? Or where am I going to rob from Peter to pay Paul, right? Like she's that girl and she doesn't feel comfortable doing it with $40 or $60 or $99 or any of those, but 20, she probably can do, right? So that's what that's for, but it is a great conversation starter. And it is great that it's, like that, and the dollar enrollment. We don't do it often. That's the other thing that you have going for you. It is not something, you will not see that, a low thing again, I promise you, for several months. You can always assure that, when you get people who, that's what they want to join, or that's when they think they want to join, or whatever, because you'll get that. You'll get people that will ask sometimes like, oh, I know 31, they'll do something else. And I always assure them, honestly, I don't see offers like this again for another 6 months, because it's really pretty true. It's usually once a catalog that we'll see something like the dollar enrollment or this, lower priced kit, something like that. So a couple of dates too is we are going to be doing our next opportunity event will be next Sunday. We do this at 6:30. So I was saying 8 o'clock. I was gonna make sure we gave us time. So 8 o'clock will be the opportunity event next time. I am gonna start going live again with them. Maybe not every time, but I do think that that was helpful. Just to kind of get them kind of, I don't know,
Hey, Danielle, you do know next Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday, right?
Oh, it is. Ooh.
I don't watch for the game. I watch for the halftime show and the commercials.
I have got to remind my accountability group, because we all literally just brainstormed about all this. Okay.
And looking at all the people that are going to be at the halftime show next
week. I'm watching the halftime.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be phenomenal.
It's like the first halftime show I'm actually excited for.
I'm going to be
except for Prince. Between
Matthew Stafford myself. Come on.
Between Stafford and Eminem, that's the closest that the Detroit is ever going to get to be in the Super Bowl.
Right. Okay, so it's going to be Friday or Saturday.
Okay.
The problem I had with Friday or Saturday is that it's Valentine's is Monday. And so I feel like I would love you guys' opinion. I feel like a lot of people will be going out to eat Friday or Saturday. What do you think about that? I don't go out.
What about like in the middle, earlier, like, I don't know, 2, 3 o'clock on Saturday?
Earlier on Sunday?
Because people are going to go out.
What time is Super Bowl? It's later.
Super Bowl starts at like, the pregame starts at like 5 or 6. So if you want to do like 2 o'clock, that might work.
I might do that. You might be right. Okay, and what about us meeting? Can we do it earlier?
I'm Gumby.
I'm still in quarantine, so.
Okay, I'll figure out for sure times, but I think we'll go earlier with both, Tammy. I think that's a great suggestion. Thank you. I'm so glad you reminded me of that.
Like I said, I don't want to miss the ads, and I don't want to miss the Super Bowl, the halftime show.
This is like one of the first halftime shows in a long time, right? That I want to see as well. Very, very good point. Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to tell you guys, and the directors don't even know about this, so they have to stay tuned for Tuesday as well, is Tuesday at some point in the day, I'm going to be going live with something else that we're just going to do as a team, which is fun. And it's just another incentive that we're going to do. So the hint I will give, this is not it, but the hint is that it's something similar to when we did our booking blitz and it was like beach volleyball. Only it's going to have to do more with sponsoring, and there's fun prizes involved. So I'm going to announce what that is on Tuesday. Yeah, just kind of something fun that I'm trying to kind of line up for us as a team too, right? Because the other thing I'm going to leave you guys with is those of you that do have recruits and do have people under you, and I know that's not all of you, you need to start thinking about getting them involved in some of these sponsoring things as well. Right. And reminding them that even if they don't want to be a leader or a senior consultant or elite consultant or anything like that, but that you are building your team and they are still part of your team and that you want to help them. Right. So think about that for this month also for you guys. Right. And I know right now, some of you, it's like pulling strings just to get them to party, but remind them of sliding down the mountain, if nothing else. Right. Remind them that if they're struggling getting parties, they might want to start with talking about the kits right now, right? Talking about that's a great reason for them to message some of the people to get those connected contacts too. So, okay. I know I've blabbed long enough. No other questions? For sure. Okay. It was a good call. Thank you so much. Oh, I better take a picture. We lost some of us, but I better. Okay. Cheese. My cheeks are red. I'm so hot. My house is too hot. Okay. Have a great night, guys. And make sure you're Marcoing me. I know some of you, Tammy, I got to get caught up. There's a couple of you that I got to get caught up with your Marcos, but make sure you guys are Marcoing me too. I want to stay in the loop how you guys are all doing with goals and all the things too. So, Okay.
Have a
Bye,
great week,
guys.
everybody.
Bye. Have a good
Bye.
weekend.